Okay, let's go. Hello and
Okay.
welcome to the series of Future Law webinars. Today we are hosting Karol Andrea Valencia. She will be speaking about human-centered design in legal services delivery. Karol Valencia is a marketing specialist and communication executive with strong background in legal innovation and user experience design. With a background in marketing and communication, she brings a unique perspective to the legal tech industry, emphasizing the importance of client-centered approaches. She advocates for integrating human-centered solutions for clients. Welcome, Karol Andrea Valencia. Big applaud, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Valentin. Sorry, but I cannot avoid laughing a bit because we know each other for such a long time already. So it's very nice to have these kind of conversations, honest conversations with such a friend like you. I already consider you my friend. I don't know how it's about the culture and such, but yeah, in Latin America, that's the way we are. Like we are just like an open book. I was actually talking about this and how the different culture affects or impacts the daily basis job, especially legal operations, with some legal operations friends yesterday night. So yeah, it was very funny because all of them work in international or multinational companies, and we were sharing about, yeah, if you come from Argentina, if you come from Spain, if you come from US, so it's different perspectives. But in any case, but I love Estonia. Thanks to you, I've been there for my second time last year. Well, sorry, I am already in 2025 this year. And then I'm looking forward to be there for my third time on 2025 for Future Love Conference as well. Yeah.
You would be amazed how many people are surprised with Estonia, and it's worth visiting for sure because we are quite advanced in technology, and there are many different opportunities here in Estonia.
Yeah.
Well, can you briefly share your journey in legal innovation and what inspired you to focus on enhancing legal services delivery?
Yeah, sure. Well, in any case, let me quickly start saying and mentioning that I am originally from Peru. Soon I will have the double nationality through Spain. I already applied, so in 3 or 4 months I will be able to say I am a Spanish citizenship as well. So then, well, in Peru, what happens or what was happening at least 10 years ago, because I am not that young anymore. I'm not too old, but I'm in between, on my 30s. So the thing is, like, what was happening in Peru is that I was very lucky and very blessed to got a couple of scholarships to sponsor my law degree career, because you know that law school is not cheap. Not even in Latin America is cheap. Of course, it's cheaper than in other countries, but it's not cheap. Um, and then because of those scholarship, I was actually playing the violin. So let's start with innovation. I was a lawyer but also playing the violin to be able to get the sponsorship of this law degree and be able to become a lawyer, right? So in Peru, I am a certified lawyer, also with a master and all the certifications that you are supposed to have to practice law. But then eventually what was happening 10 years ago was that everyone was talking about digital transformation, but mostly especially in banking and finance sector, and also the fintech sector and some retail and maybe also some insurance companies, but in the legal sector, not too much. Probably they were talking about legal hackathons or some legal innovation, but in silos. And there were like only a couple of law firms or maybe a couple of in-house legal departments, especially from the banking sector that were actually doing something related to legal innovation. So if you were like me, that for instance didn't have the network that I am happy to have nowadays around the world. Yeah, 10 years ago, nobody knew about my job, about my skill set, about the things that I can do. So yeah, that's why I didn't get enough opportunities, especially in tech law or legal innovation. So that was the main reason, because, well, that was one of the two reasons because I left my country. And then the second reason was that I was also blessed to grow in a family that was half Peruvian and half American. And because of that reason, I was like bilingual since I was very little. And in the school, I don't know if that happens the same in Estonia or in other countries, they kind of force you to learn English, okay, or whatever other language. So in my school, there was the option of English and or French. So of course, my parents say she's gonna go for the French because she already speaks English. So that's why I learned about that. And then I was thinking to myself, if I stay in Peru, uh, if I join a multinational company, I will be able to practice my English and put it into value. But the French is gonna be left behind. And I was also learning Portuguese because I love Brazilian culture. I have a lot of Brazilian friends. So if you are listening to me, hi to you guys. Thank you for joining. And then yeah, so I was thinking about I like learning languages. So
Which
why
actually could be a major contribution to how do you act yourself today within the legal industry. But why
yeah,
do you think improving legal service delivery is a critical challenge today? Why do you
yeah,
think it is important?
yeah, indeed. So, I mean, that's why those were the two reasons, because I left Peru and then I went to New York with family. I studied a little bit of UX design in IDEO and human centered design. And then I got a job offer, especially to join a legal tech product in Spain that was about this role about legal product manager and how to, for instance, improve the legal service delivery of the platform. So, I think this was my very, very, very first big challenge because was in a country that I didn't have any relatives or family, but also was a role that allows me to collaborate with the in-house legal departments, with the law firm that was providing the input to develop the platform, and of course with the developer team, right? So that's very important because we have to identify our users' needs, and I think that's the main failure when it comes to legal service delivery because we have this pain point that we cannot identify exactly the user needs because I mean you don't go to law school and they don't teach you. I mean you go to law school but they don't teach you how to, for instance, do an empathy map, how to identify the pain points, the needs of your end users that not always are other lawyers like you, that not always are people that have a law degree like you. So, for instance, that's the main, the main pain point in the best in the major challenge about legal service delivery, because we, as lawyers, we tend to think that our end user is in most cases another lawyer, but or someone that knows about law, but in most of the cases it's not like that. It's another
So,
department or it's another person that doesn't have that knowledge.
so the client expectations evolved, right?
Yeah.
So this was something that clients required eventually. And that's what made you rethink the whole structure probably and process of how you deliver your legal services, how you provide your advice to other people who are in the legal industry.
Yeah,
Uh,
indeed.
and what were the most common inefficiencies in traditional legal services delivery, especially within law firms, right? Because they are the ones who practice law at the first step, let's say.
Yeah, for instance, yeah, it's very interesting because I have seen so many so many parts. At least I can talk about the Peruvian experience, I mean Latin America, US, and Europe, because those are the places where I have lived. But yeah, it's very although they are different countries and different regions of the world, they are quite similar when practicing law, about practicing law. So for instance, I mean 10 years ago when I started, yeah, was very traditional. Like, I mean, it takes a lot of time to identify your the needs of your customer and such. And also, for instance, they were sending a lot of mails, a lot of meetings, investing a lot of on conferences and such. But nowadays, if you ask your client, hey, come to my office, we're going to discuss about this case or this strategy for this case, they will say, no, I mean, I'm working remotely today, so there's no way that I will separate half an hour or 1 hour and a half plus driving to your law office or to your law firm to discuss about the case. Just give me a call or just have this Zoom meeting or Google Meets or Teams, and we discuss about it. So, for instance, and I think COVID, well, I hate talking about COVID, but at least for the other side of the world that we're not used to hybrid work or remote work, it has been an acceleration. So, like an acceleration program, and everything that was on site has become at least hybrid, has evolved. So for instance, and then that's also that has been also very interesting for the ASP providers, for these alternative legal services providers, because or the low things that are very boutique and very small and specify related to certain specialization in law, because for instance they are renting spaces in co-working only when they have meetings with clients, and then the rest of the time they are working remotely. And of course this is also very important for the legal tech sector, because they have to adopt different technologies. I mean, not necessarily legal tech or not only legal tech tools, but in general they have to develop a correct strategy about which technologies are they gonna be able to adopt business-wise, but also money-wise.
Moreover, it's been 4 years
Yeah.
already, and we still have hybrid work here in Estonia, in the Baltics, in the Nordics. As far as I know, and based on my experience, a lot of lawyers still work remotely a lot, and even official government agencies do work remotely also a lot, and they actually use a lot technology and different innovative operational systems in order to keep efficiency on the level. And they just meet from time to time to make brainstorms and to collaborate
And also to team building, right? Because
in a more enhanced way, right?
yeah.
So what was the role of legal tech, how it actually played in transforming service delivery from those times or even earlier to today?
Yeah, okay. So first of all, I want to say that I have collaborated with at least 7 legal techs during my career, and I am kind of biased, okay? But I will try to not to mention any names in specific. But I mean, if you go to my LinkedIn, you can find. But yeah, I mean, it really depends, because I think that you have to really first step for me in order to really enhance your legal service delivery, to really do it, you first step is, for instance, be aware of the things that you already have and the things that you don't have. That's the first step.
Your
Meaning,
organizational structure and processes, you mean?
indeed. And also maybe your talent, your people, because if you are trying to implement, I don't know, an automation platform, and yourself don't have any idea about coding or automation, then how are you going to be able to be sure you're acquiring or adopting the correct legal tech tool for automation, for instance, right? So if you don't know it, at least hire a legal engineer, consultant, or someone that knows a little bit more than you do on that topic, so then they can recommend you which one can meet your needs. And also, for instance, give it a try to learn about functionalities within Microsoft Word, because there are a lot of automation things that you can start doing today. For instance,
Especially today, they implemented a lot of things that actually provide you with an enhanced tool to collaborate within the organization.
yeah,
So
let's go
yes,
to basics. Yeah, I mean, I am on that. I mean, in fashion is working that trend. Also in the legal innovation sector,
but
I am an advocate.
it's
Yeah,
not basics. According to statistics, most lawyers still use Microsoft
yeah,
documentation, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Office overall, and Google as well. to automate their processes, to keep their documents, etc. So it's a still big and major part of every tech we use.
Yeah, and even for legal design, because I mean, everyone, when you talk about legal design, they are thinking about, yeah, you have to learn. Now I have to become a UX designer. I have to learn Adobe, I have to learn Canva, I have to learn Figma, and not. There are a lot of design stuff that you can actually do with Microsoft Word again, or with Microsoft Point. So, for instance, that was let's go back again to the first step. Be aware of the things and the tools and the talent that you have within your organization, and the things, the talent, and the tools that you don't have within your organization. Yeah.
And strategy also doesn't help
Yeah.
always, because as we know, culture eats strategy for breakfast, right?
Yeah.
So it's quite important to establish a proper corporate culture within your organization. Then
Yeah.
it can be sustainable and persistent in the future. And if you have the right people, right, you do not need to control and manage them. They
Yeah.
manage themselves.
Yeah.
Can you share an example of a project where technology significantly impacted and improved service delivery in organization?
Yeah. I mean, let's go back to the example of the alternative legal service providers. I'm not going to say any names, really. I'm trying to not to mention
Please
anyone.
don't. Please
Yeah.
don't.
No, I won't. I
Unless
won't.
unless they are future law sponsors.
Okay, okay, okay. I
I'm just
hope
kidding.
if they are
I'm just kidding.
listening, I hope that they can sponsor. No, but the thing is, like, I know one boutique law firm. I know them very well. I actually saw them yesterday too. And I know that since even before the pandemic, they were working already fully remote, fully remote. But with the pandemic, they were still working on of these co-working spaces. And since the moment that they started to adopt more legal tech tools, right now they actually push an integration between two of their favorite legal tech tools, which is an amazing milestone. I mean, if you really can be the one that pushes that legal tests can have a discussion and say, hey, we are not enemies. We're going to collaborate together. We're going to contribute in order to match our client needs. In this case, the needs of this boutique law firm, right? That was aiming and looking forward for an integration between the favorite features of legal tech product A and the legal features of legal tech product B. So they kind of facilitate the conversation between those two tools in order to not to have different solutions, just to put them together so they can have like a major platform, right? And of course, that allows this legal team first to stop going to the office. I mean, they were going to the office at least twice a week, so they changed from hybrid remote to from hybrid mode to fully remote working. And then also they push this collaboration between these two legal tech tools that were kind of not enemies but competitors, because they managed to make them see, okay, this feature that you have, I love it, and this other feature that you also have, I love it. So please, can you have a seat, have a coffee, and discuss how can we create a better product based on these features that we like, and we are going to be able to use and develop business cases and use cases based on those. And yeah, so
By
at
the
the end, sorry.
Yes, by the way, there is a great question.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
I'm sorry for interrupting, but
no
it
worries.
actually concerns the current discussion. So maybe we could actually implement it in your answer. Uh, so the question is, could you please share some tools that the law firm was implementing?
Okay, so one of those tools was I really don't want to say the names, but one of those tools was one that you can include as an add-on to automatize documents within your Microsoft Word. If you put those hints, are enough hints for you to find the solution in Google or ChatGPT. And then the other one was a CLM tool. So I mean, yeah, there are a lot of CLMs, so probably that one's going to be a little bit more tricky. So yeah, and then that was very important because this boutique law firm was actually becoming very popular because they were supporting one of the biggest energy companies in Spain. So they were, I mean, this in-house legal department from this company, I'm not gonna say the name again. They were delegating all the employer and labor and regulatory affairs related to labor law to this law boutique. So that's why it was very important for them to find, of course, an automation tool, this one that I told you, that they can actually use as an add-on within Microsoft Word, and try to have this collaboration with the CLM tool that they were already using for their tracking contracts, lifecycle management, and such. And they did it. So of course that was a better, a more efficient use of the time. Also, enhances the collaboration within the in-house legal department that they were collaborating for these labor affairs and labor law stuff. And then also, like I told you, they changed fully from hybrid mode to remote mode of working. So nowadays, I think they have been working remotely for the last 3 years already, just remote.
Amazing. But what would you suggest? What frameworks or methodologies do you recommend for process improvement in legal services, in legal processes?
Yeah, first, I mean, we were talking about the first step, right? So the second step, definitely to enhance the legal service delivery, would be the culture. How you develop the team building, the culture within your organization? It doesn't matter if it's an in-house legal department or a law firm. I really like talking about more legal teams in general. When I refer to legal teams, I mean any kind of legal teams within any organization. So, for instance, I am an advocate of the management 3.0 mindset. I don't know if you have listened about this one, but that mindset, which is a Dutch mindset, actually developed by Jürgen Appelo. I'm gonna type it in the chat for the people that is here. Maybe you can find it later. So you can actually become a facilitator of this methodology, management 3.0, and that means that you empower your colleagues, your team members, in order that they can be productive, but you don't have to command them to do the things. They know how to do the things that they can do, the things that they have to do, and they self-manage their time according to their skills and such. But of course, for instance, if they finish faster or they are taking a little bit of extra time, they can always raise the hand and say, hey, can someone help me? Or if I finish faster, I can give support to someone else according to my skills. Because if it's an automation task and I don't know anything about automation, how I'm going to be able to support? But if I know how to automate, or I know some tricks on Microsoft Word that can improve the automation process, yeah, maybe I can get involved on that task. So instead of delegating, what you do is, for instance, you develop trust, and you say, okay, based on your skills, what can you bring? How can you contribute to the things that we are doing within the legal team, right? So that's what management 3.0 talks about. Then, of course, I would really recommend you to do something that I have seen in a couple of law firms in the past. That is to have at least twice a month sessions where you can discuss about your client's needs, your strategy. Again, more practices about efficiencies. How are you, if you have identified a new use case, or, I mean, just share best practices within the legal team. Can be, I have seen this in two law firms, but can be these moments to share about best practices within any legal team. And also maybe try also to invite the other users. For instance, one person from another department, the department that you get more interaction with. I don't know, can be accountability, can be HR, I don't know, whatever whatever department you interact more. but yeah, I think those kind of sessions, just talk or just share about the good things, and also the things that you can improve, or just sharing best practices at least once or twice a month, that all already helps to enhances legal service delivery already, and then gives you kind of a new perspective. So yeah, I will say
So,
that.
so this is how you ensure that the human element is not lost when introducing technology to legal services.
Yeah.
You engage your colleagues, you engage your clients sometimes in order to provide more perspective, overview of how to go forward together.
Yeah.
But are there any strategies that legal teams, leaders can use to foster a culture of innovation in their teams?
Yeah, then I mean, if you really follow this mindset of management 3.0, they have like 7 different exercises that you can start doing since tomorrow and implementing together with your legal teams. But yeah, I wouldn't recall, for instance, agile or lean, because if you are on with a legal team that is working on software development, probably lean is gonna be helpful. But if you are more on a law firm, depending, or if you are working on legal project management, lean can be helpful. But if you don't work with project management, then probably it's not gonna be useful for you. So it really depends about the sector, about the specialization, about the talent that you have within your law firm, within your legal team. Yeah, it really depends. But what I will always recommend is, for instance, to invest in sessions, inviting someone that can teach your legal team something new. I mean, meaning, for instance, that you invite someone to talk about personal branding, or you invite someone to give a master class about Python. That something that can enlign and can be can help your legal team to switch a bit from their daily basis. So then first they learn something new, but that probably they can put into value. And of course, for the ones that demonstrate more commitment and came and develop some ideas or some use cases, probably you can actually sponsor them a course or something. I mean, it doesn't have to be something very expensive, because when I recommend, when I was like providing some consultancy for legal teams, I actually made them understand that there are some platforms like Coursera or others. I mean, and going back to this point, that you can learn by yourself. If you really are interested on something, if you really want to learn something, you can get these courses. Actually, there are very corporate um, subscriptions and such that you can start paying, and it's very affordable for any type, size of legal team, I think. And then also maybe ask your colleagues. You can find that one of your colleagues was already a UX designer, or one of your colleagues knows Python, or one of your colleagues knows about Power BI. So then put all those skills that they already have and you were not aware as a team leader, but now that you know, put those skills that they have into value, and try to find a new task for them that they can actually put these skills into use.
Well, yes, that's correct. And you have to be aware of all this situation going on in your organization. And of course, we lawyers are professionals that got accustomed to work within people. It's not that difficult to see that lawyers are reluctant to go to Coursera or somewhere else and to study some things that they are not quite sure of. Let's say, in this aspect, I would always suggest to, let's say, participate in our webinars, to attend our conference, because there you can see a lot of great experts, top class speakers from different parts of the world that would share different strategies and use cases in order to improve yourself.
Yeah, no, and also lead by example, right? Because What is happening, for instance, with one of the legal teams that I'm working right now is that most of them they tell me, yeah, but they are not giving me a space to innovate, or there is no budget. But I know that there is no budget, and I know that the resources are not the best. Probably it's not also the best moment. I mean, as lawyers, we are always running out of time. I mean, we actually don't, we would like the day to have 36 hours, but yeah, it is what it is. So if you really want to start doing something, I always recommend, for instance, which is the process that I should start working to implement legal operations, for instance. So I always say, how is your onboarding process for new team members, or how is your offboarding process, which is even more critical? And nobody, I mean, when I ask this question, they say, oh, I didn't know that I was able actually to implement legal operations and measure the efficiencies of those two processes, like the onboarding and the offboarding. I was like, well, yeah, you can implement operations within those two processes, and it's very important, because when you are doing the onboarding process, you're actually giving access to this new team member within your legal team to the knowledge management. And if that knowledge management in your organization is not correctly organized, then you are just transferring a mess to this new colleague. And the same with the offboarding process, because I mean, when someone is leaving the team for whatever reason, especially even worse, for a data breach or for something bad that that person did, then it's even more critical, and it's even more important, because you have to take the access out from that person that is leaving, and be aware that everything remains the same as the first time that person had access. And I actually experimented a data breach this year, so I really know it by by experience, and I learned the lesson. Yeah. So yeah.
So the process of onboarding of your own colleagues, employees is quite important, but
Yeah.
it is also important, I guess, to apply the same principles for client onboarding and
Indeed.
client offboarding as well, right?
Yeah, for instance, especially, I don't know if any of the attendees of this session are working on product development, or are working in like IP law, or very IP related sector, for instance, pharmacy.
I'm
Yeah.
quite sure there are a few, at least
So
as far as I see it, based on the
yeah, I mean,
list of the attendees.
yeah, but I mean, talking about that, it's very important, for instance, as part of your onboarding process, but also of your offboarding process of clients, of team members, and other suppliers or providers involved in your operators involved of your business process. You should be able to have, for instance, a legal guide that can be actually a playbook, applying design, or just one page where you really mention, okay, as part of the onboarding process, you have to sign this agreement that says that the confidentiality, talk about information, talk about the dates and such. And same with the offboarding processes, because actually what's happened this year to me was that we were not able to develop one thing that we were requested. And of course, we have this agreement with the other party to say, hey, we couldn't develop this part, but of course, for the following 5 years, 5 years, not 3 years, because it's usually 2 years, 3 years, but for the following 5 years, we are not gonna work on a solution that is related to this topic. So in that sense, it's I mean, we ensure the other part that, hey, still stay calm. We are not gonna mess up with your business. And from our part, I mean, we are just giving our word that we are not gonna be a competitor or something like that. And for instance, during my career, I have signed like a lot of them with all the legal tech and law firms or legal teams that I have collaborated with. So yeah, that's very important. I'm really kind of intrigued and sometimes worry about the conversations with the topic of legal operations, because they don't mention the importance of having legal guides or having playbooks related to the processes and documents involved with the onboarding process and with the offboarding process. And I think those two processes are probably the most important ones and the main ones to start within your legal team.
Do you think it's applicable on the same level for both big law firms, small law firms, legal departments in small and big corporations? Do you have any examples to compare and to understand? Because, of course, if you have a lot of employees, a lot of people that are working with you, it is quite necessary to bring about very precise operational system, organizational structure, a culture in order to retain talent, in order to hire a new one. But if it's a small boutique law firm or a small company with just a few lawyers, do you think it is the same important for them in terms of efficiency again to implement these principles of organizational processes?
Yeah, to be honest, I believe yes, because it doesn't matter how little you are. I mean, if you're self-employed and it's only you, your company is only you, and probably it's like a family company. I mean, which I don't recommend, by the way. But I mean, can work based on a very recent experience. I don't recommend it anymore. But I mean, probably you asked me the same thing before 3 months ago. I will say yes, but not anymore. But in any case, the thing is like if you're self-employed or it's a family company or it's like no more than 10 people, no more than 10 employees, it doesn't matter if it's a boutique firm or a very 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 short legal team from a startup. Probably not. Probably you can stay. It's not necessary, but at least you have to. Depending on it doesn't matter the size of your organization. What I will always encourage you to do is focus on the talent, focus on the onboarding and the offboarding processes, and also focus on having everything organized, meaning your knowledge management. I mean, it doesn't matter how big or how small is your organization, but knowledge management, it's key important. It doesn't matter. And of course, I mean, the documents related to the other processes, I mean, the onboarding, the offboarding, compliance and such. Yeah, I mean, you can go step by step according the way you are growing. So I mean, if you are less than 10 people, I think it's not that much necessary to start. But then if you are between 15 20 plus, yeah, I mean 50, then yeah, of course you have to do it. And other, because if you don't do that, then it's going to be a little bit trickier to organize when you are already in the point of okay, I'm growing, so now how I'm going to be able, because then you have everything disorganized and it's a mess to organize it.
Because people come and go and the knowledge that you accumulate stays,
Yeah,
and it's actually your asset that you need to manage to structure your data, to use your data further
yeah,
efficiently in
and
order
also to know
to
the
sell
metric.
your
Yeah.
services or even to create products based on
Mhm.
it. Because we do have quite a lot of examples when a small law firm or a medium-sized law firm, they just create some let's say productivized legal services that actually are sold by units, and
Yeah, indeed.
it only increases the revenue rather than the opposite. So it's quite important to manage your knowledge, manage your data, and of course to take care of onboarding and offboarding of your employees, because it's
And
directly
clients, as you
associated
mentioned
as
before.
and clients, because it's directly associated with the knowledge and data management in your company.
Yeah, and then
Well,
sorry, no, I
yeah,
also wanted to add something that, for instance, be aware also what is happening around. I don't know. I know that again we're always running out of time, but there is, for instance, a podcast that I listen every day, and that's how I was on time to get to know about the digital nomad visa that, for instance, has been launched in Spain very recently, and I know that a lot of countries all over the world are starting with that. So, for instance, if you are a law firm that is doing this foreign law, you can start implementing an automation solicitation within your team for this to in order to get some clients from abroad to come to your country, in this case Spain. And actually, for instance, that's how I get to know some law firms that were amazed of the idea of having a product that can automate that visa application process for the digital nomad visa. And then, for instance, companies that are looking for that foreigners talent in order to bring them so they can partner with these legal service providers and law firms in order to bring this talent. So then that's an amazing example how regulation, legal services, and also in-house legal departments from big companies that are looking for that kind of talent can collaborate together and develop a product. And like that example, I have seen a lot of collaborations between also data protection law firms and legal tech startups to create a CRM product related to data protection and data privacy. So, I mean, the combination, can be done in any way you can imagine. And then, yeah, just try to be creative, identify your client's needs, and based on that, start productivizing and try to check the efficiencies that you can handle within your organization, I will say. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. These were great insights. And if you have something to sum up as key takeaways or any particular advice to legal professionals looking to start the journey in improving legal services delivery, please go on. We'll be happy to hear. And after that, let's start Q&A sessions. And if any questions arise, we will have a look at it.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, if someone has any question, please drop it in the chat or drop it in the comments on the LinkedIn Live, then we will be happy to answer. So, yeah, like I told you, first step, focus on the things that you have and you don't have. Second, invest in the talent and then in having a good knowledge management that it's organized and clean within your organization. Third, always stay creative, but identify what is happening around you, because, like I told you, listening to this podcast, I got this idea, and then we enhanced the collaboration between government, legal services, and companies that were looking for that digital nomad talent. And then follow future law webinars, and follow us on LinkedIn, and reach out to us if you have any other questions. I mean, just try always to hack yourself and try to check what else you can do. And
That's the most important, I guess, to hack yourself, because it's the main challenge for everyone. You need to bring yourself up and start doing.
Start doing the things. Yeah. I mean, the theory is good, but then also you have to put your hands in the ground in order to do the things. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I guess all the questions we had were already submitted, and let's keep in touch. Let's proceed with our journey into legal innovation. I thank you very much for your time today, Karol, and let's see each other next year at the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Rustin, for joining also. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.